Man, could they remind us just one more time that there's going to be a wedding coming up soon? I think someone might have missed it in the back. Welcome to the heart of the stories we tell. My name is Rob, and tonight I will be reviewing Flash, Episode 7, Therefore I Am, which is, of course, a play on the old saying, I think, therefore I am. And since we mostly are dealing with the thinker this episode, it's a pretty decent play on words. Anyone that follows my gifted reviews know that I get pretty mad on cheesy names for episodes, but this one I kind of liked. Alright, so mostly it's dealing with Thinker and with the consequences that Team Flash normally ignores, but all in all I liked it. For those of you that don't know, what I do here is I review stories as they come up, but I also do theories of storytelling every Sunday and Throwback Thursdays every Thursday. If that sounds interesting to you, click that subscribe button, join our little community, and welcome to the family. For now, we have a lot to unpack, so let's get started with the spoiler section. So once again, it's stop spoiler time. Before we get started, I want to go with something that Thinker said. DeVoe tells Barry, for the fastest man alive, you're actually rather slow. And he says, I'm the smartest. I think faster than you do. And that's one of those things that always kind of grates on me. Barry's powers, Wally's powers, they're not time-based, so there's no changeover. If for him to run, he needs to process what's going on. He needs to think at light speed. And I want you to think about what that means. Barry should be one of the smartest people on the planet. Not only is he a forensic scientist, not only is he a pretty intelligent mathematician, but his mind should be moving at super speed 90% of the time. Of course, if that happened, then there would be no need for Team Flash, and, well, there'd be almost no challenge for him, so that's why they don't do it, and I understand that. I do like that we got Wally back, and there was a great Easter egg with him. He fought a giant starfish from space. That's Starro! Yay, Starro! Seriously, though, I think I would have rather watched that than a couple of the incidents we've seen in the last couple of episodes. Alright, so Team Flash is not exactly going to be very forgiving tonight. They're going to treat Barry like he's just some idiot, which I find funny because they try to give Ralph the benefit of the doubt even though they portray him as just some idiot all the time. I am glad about a couple of things, though. One, this isn't another speedster villain. Two, it didn't drag on too long. We didn't have, oh, he's not really the DeVoe over and over and over again. And I question how he could have learned about the Council of Wells exactly, but we'll figure that out as time goes on. Because tonight's episode was all about humanizing and explaining who the Thinker is. So who is the Thinker? Well, he's a teacher. He's an entrepreneur. He's a intellectual. But he's one of those people, you run into these people from time to time. And I'm going to just quickly dissect down into what type of person that is. Someone that's smart enough to know the answer, but not sociable enough to be able to understand how people interact with each other. And I, of all people, am not going to fault anyone because I'm not exactly a charismatic leader type. But that's the thing. In the real world, charisma and force of personality, believing you're doing right, more often than not works out better than being the smartest person in the room. On the other hand, let's be honest, we all want the smartest person in the room advising that charismatic leader. But let's all be honest with each other. There's a difference between being the idea man and being the person who can sell the idea. And I'm not saying that there aren't people that have all of those capabilities. There are. Those are the really awesome people. Alright, so, I'm not much of a salesman, but I think of myself a little bit as a thinker. And we spend most of this episode learning how the Thinker came to be. And he had a thinking cap, which, can I just say, someone who said that someone was plebeian for abbreviating Rebecca to Becky should have come up with a better name than the thinking cap. But okay, he designed it, used it when the accelerator went off, and I loved the little nod to the fact that old Harrison Wells knew who the Thinker was and was like, oh, good luck to you in your future endeavors. So, we still don't know what he needs Barry for, though. I'm wondering if this is a case of he wants to possess Barry's body, or use Barry's hyper-regeneration to heal himself, or if there's something else going on. There's a lot going on here. But you know what one of the really great things about this episode was? Even throughout all of it, the humanity of the villain came through. You realize that the Thinker was a person in love with his wife, a person who was doing everything he could to survive, a person who was probably more than a little insane before any of these devices even started. And can I just say, the taking off the top of your head and plugging into a machine is creepy. Alright. So, he's been one step ahead. Now Team Flash is going to try to get one step ahead of him. It's interesting. Because we don't have a speedster, no matter how fast Barry runs, no matter how hard Barry hits, he can't stop this villain. Of course, you know, unless he decides to kill him, that is. But, of course, he's not going to do that. That's why he's our main protagonist. That's why we're following him. Because he's the good guy, the superhero, the one who needs to find a way. And don't forget, we still have that neural inhibitor coming. After all, that's what Savitar said. But okay. If you saw my review of Supergirl, you know that I was a little weirded out. The Berlantiverse is getting ready for a 4-part crossover over 2 nights next week. And they kind of left this still on a cliffhanger. Like, how are they going to do Crisis on Earth X when they've still got all of this plotline left over with DeVoe? Not to mention what's going on Supergirl, Arrow, and Legends. Although I am a little behind on Legends right now. I'm going to catch up on that when I finish this. Next week, we're going to do this a little different. We're going to only do 2 reviews. One for Part 1 and 2, and one for Part 3 and 4. But I'd love to hear what you're thinking right now. Let me know down in the comments section. Do you think DeVoe is one of the deadliest opponents Flash has? And how are they going to do the 4-part crossover next week? Alright, well, either way, I've come to the end of my thinking about this episode and overthinking it. So if you could, I'd really appreciate a like and share. And of course, thank you for subscribing. If you haven't already, the button's going to be there. What I do here is try to create a community. I'd love to talk about all the different things coming up, both in this and in the other shows. I try to pull apart what I can and guess what's coming for the future. Sometimes I'm right, sometimes I'm wrong. Okay, I'm not wrong a lot, but whatever. For now, I'd like to thank you for taking this journey with me as we walk through the heart of the stories we tell.